What's up, Kaji family? This is Godzilla Train 1090. So on today's station today with a brand new review. And today we are doing a very anticipated figure that I've been waiting for. I did the unthinkable just for him. Just for him. And today we're going to be discussing the 1991 Yuji Sakai Godzilla version 3. Now, if you've been an Express Collector for a while, y'all know that there are 3 different versions of this Godzilla. The first one's going to be the beautiful Hokkaido version, where they will use Sakai. Because if you don't collect Express figures, Yuji Sakai usually pulls moments from his favorite. I don't know about his favorite films, but famous scenes in movies that he's creating in these figures. And the first one was the Hokkaido landing when Godzilla first, I guess, rebirthed, and he first comes back into the world when he's walking through the countryside with the cows mooing and everything like that. And I was like, oh my god, Godzilla's back. So that's what version 1 was. Version 2 was a Shinjuku version. And for that version, I believe Godzilla was, I think, fighting Mega King Ghidorah. I'm not sure. I need to I need to see a picture of that figure and compare it to the film. I really don't know what image they were trying to pull for that one. But I have to assume that since he was in Shinjuku, he's either fighting Mega King Ghidorah or he was just destroying the city. Maybe when he tripped right next to Tokyo Tower, possibly. Who knows? And this version, I'm not going to say the name because I already butchered it earlier, trying to practice for it. So I'm just not going to say it. But this is when Godzilla first runs to King Ghidorah. When King Ghidorah's in the air and Godzilla just looks up and he's just like ready to fight and ready to battle with him. And when I bring the camera closer when I bring up the camera closer for some full body shots, and once I go over the details in that, you'll see what I mean. But just look at this guy. He's not gonna be funny to us. And so I guess before I bring the camera closer, I'll explain a little bit. Just a little story time. So I did have the Hokkaido version. I got the Hokkaido version. It was a Diamond issue, and that was probably my second or third X-Plus figure I ever got. And I absolutely loved it. I loved it from the bottom of my heart. I love that figure. I really do. And of course I know I'm a toy photographer. I took so many photos of him, back to back, photos after photo after photo after photo after photo. And one day I was like, you know what? I can't really get too much more out of him than what I've gotten already. Which I guess isn't completely true because I haven't really built a diorama set yet. But at the time I felt that I couldn't take no more photos of him. That and the version 2 version of the 1989 Godzilla, they look similar. Both of the poses are pretty similar, with the 91 more straight up and the 89 in the more of a walking pose. Unless you're a Godzilla purist, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference between those two suits. And I was just like, I just decided it was time to let him go to another collector. And I went ahead and sold him. And I sold him to get this version because I love the dynamic pose. I love how fierce and how much ferocity he has in his face. Like I said, when I bring up the camera closer, you'll see what I mean. But I just absolutely love the scope of this Godzilla. And who knows? Maybe it'll be even on the top of the Yuji Sakai list as far as my favorite Yuji Sakai figure. But you have to stick around to find out that answer. But alright guys, if you give me a second, I'll bring the camera up closer so I can show you all this beautiful beast up close and personal. And I'll do some size comparisons also to see how he compares with some of my other figures in my collection. But alright, thank you. Yes, the 1991 Yuji Sakai Godzilla version 3. Now, I would explain why I got this guy, and so I won't really go back over that again, but there are a lot of things about this figure that I do absolutely love, just a little bit more than the original release. Now, I do love that this guy looks so fierce. The Hokkaido version looks absolutely perfect, but I love the fierceness on this version of Godzilla. I know it's still the 91, but he looks just more fierce, more menacing with that open mouth, glazed eyes look. Of course, I know all the details and everything. The tannish yellow teeth, the gums are done really nice and pronounced. Yuji Sakai always does a really incredible job, but especially on 91 Godzilla. As you see here, he does have his nice built physique, like in the movie. His tannish yellowish colored claws, so he can kind of scratch up King Ghidorah, even though Heisei Godzilla didn't do that too often. But, I digress. Of course, the wonderful four-toe look of Godzilla, of course, with his nails. And a quick shout out to Sideshow Collectibles. I was able to get this at Sideshow Collectibles for a really good price. And of course, I'll show you the side profile of him, so I can show off his dorsal plates, which are inside gray. Of course, the tips are going to be white, just like a typical Heisei Godzilla. If I'm not mistaken, the only one that's not like that is Burning Godzilla. I think everybody else just has this gray and white thing going on here, honestly. And of course, as you continue to move up on his long tail, this Godzilla really does have a really long tail. Even in the movie, whenever he's walking around, this tail just has a presence about it. Not quite Shin Godzilla or Godzilla Ultima, but it has its long tail. It has its reasons to be in the fandom as long as its tail is in this movie. And then of course you see his body has that little lean to it as well, like he's waiting for King Ghidorah to come from the sky to attack him. But the one thing I do have a little gripe about is gonna be Godzilla's the way he is side profile like this. To me, he looks a little skinny, and yeah, I know he's kind of like in a really upright pose, but to me, he's a little too skinny. I feel he should be a little bit more chunkier. But again, maybe that's just me, and that's me nitpicking because I do love this suit. I think this suit's number 6 of my all-time favorite suits. So I really know how the suit should look. That's the only gripe I have about this figure, though. Other than that, it looks absolutely perfect. But of course, and here's another side profile of him. And really, at any angle, he's perfect for photo shoots. You gotta be kind of careful because his eyes do tend to get lost underneath the shading. So that is one thing you have to be wary of when you're trying to get pictures of this guy. Even here from this shot here, you can't really see his eyes too well. But if you give me a second, of course I'm going to do some size comparisons, and I'm going to do the first one right now. Thank you. And of course, first size comparison is going to be with the 1992 Mothra. Obviously, I know this Godzilla didn't fight this Mothra, but I kind of wish he did. Because of course, as y'all know, if y'all seen Godzilla vs. Mothra, Battle for Earth, Godzilla, this version of Godzilla does appear twice in the movie. And he appears once in the water when he's fighting Lava Mothra and Batra. And the second time is his iconic scene when he busts out of the volcano coming back from his fight with Batra. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie. I'm sorry if I spoiled anything. But I don't know, I've always loved this style of suit for Godzilla. The 92 has never really been a favorite of mine. So I would definitely prefer to have the 91 suit instead of having the 92 suit, in my opinion. And really, the 91 suit could have stayed for most of the Heisei era, in my humble opinion. Even though I do like the 89 a little bit more, but that's because I love the film a lot more, probably, too. This suit would have been perfect for the Heisei era, because this suit always brought out a dominance and a fierceness to Godzilla that the 92, the 93, and the 94 suit, to me, never really captured. And of course, I'll bring out his competition for the Yuji Sakai Figure of the Year this past year, the Yuji Sakai Marquette 2000 Godzilla. Now, in my view, I did rave about this Godzilla a lot, and I do absolutely love this figure, but I love the 91 a bit more. I don't regret voting for the 91 for the Yuji Sakai Figure of the Year, in my opinion, because in my humble opinion, the 91 the scope is better. It's more crisp to me. You can really tell that you just kind of really put all in all into this suit, like he always does for every 91 that he puts out there. And yes, the Marquette's beautiful and perfect, and I would not give that thing up for anything in the world, but the 91 is a little bit better to me. So, of course, as y'all know, like I was saying at the beginning of the video, I'll give away my 91 Hokkaido version to get this new 91. And do I have any regrets? No. Even though y'all know how high I had the Hokkaido version on my list as far as Yuji Sakai figures, I don't regret coming to get this guy. And of course, I have to bring up his competition. His competition to me was probably one of the best Yuji Sakai figures ever, in my humble opinion. That between that and the Hokkaido version, I think this version of Godzilla, this version of this suit, should also be in that same discussion with the Hokkaido version and the 1984 Godzilla. Now, both of these suits, both of these scopes, absolutely positively come out straight out of the film. If you're a Godzilla fanatic and you know what part of the film that these suits came out of, you can look at them and know that's that part of the film. That's where this happened. And both of these figures do an incredible job representing that particular part of the film. Now, which one I think is better? I'm still going to go slightly with the 98. I'm going to say the 98's number one. I need to see the Hokkaido version with this. I'm not going to judge that just yet. If I can somehow find another Hokkaido version to go one-on-one with, or whenever Leslie does his review of it on his channel, we'll know it. But to me, this is number one, the 91 is number two, and number three will be Hokkaido. And we're back. And that's my review on the 1991 Yuji Sakai Godzilla version 3. So, my final thoughts on it is, again, I do believe this is a beautiful, gorgeous figure, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I love this guy. I did have to lose the Hokkaido version for it, but to me, it was worth it because I'm very weird when it comes to my collecting, or I guess strict in a sense. When it comes to X Plus figures, I usually don't get two of the same figure. That's just how I've always been. When I got my Yuji Sakai version 2, I sold my original 89 30cm figure, and that's just how I've always been. because I don't want to have too much of the same things or to have so much extra in my collection that I don't need while I have to start selling stuff. That's what I don't want. I want to be able to be happy and satisfied with what I am collecting. This is usually why I don't double dip on things and stuff like that too. So I can honestly say I'm happy that I did sell my Hokkaido version for this version. And again, I still need to see them side by side to see which one's better. Like, I need to see with my eyes. I can't even judge it off. I know earlier I was saying, because I know Leslie, Matt Jacobson or Gojira 851 and John Wortham from My Kaiju on Collect All Monsters. They're gonna do a little side project where they compare all three of these figures. This one, the Hokkaido and the Senjuku version, and I'm very excited to see that. Cause I kind of want to take a look at that to see which one's better too. But I would need them side by side to give a 100% accurate description on which one I think is better. And honestly, I probably have some old photos of the Hokkaido version too that I can probably pull up from the archives and do a comparison side by side picture that way also. I might do that and put it on Kaiju Collectors. We'll see. But again, I'm very excited that I have this figure. I waited a long time to get this bad boy. Everybody else was getting theirs. I got mine extra late, but it was worth the wait. I absolutely adore this figure. But alright guys, that's the end of this review. Of course, please like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. And for my next review, I actually got some Sofubi that I need to do a review on. So that's going to be a little bit different. I know the last Sofubi review I did was on I called him the Orange Soda Godzilla, the 1965. But I actually got a couple more Sofubi in my collection that I can do some reviews on. And I won't reveal what they are yet if y'all don't know already. Cause I did post pictures and collect on monsters, but I haven't put them out widespread yet. So, and the reason why I did it, I put it on Collect On Monsters, Collect On Monsters Monster Collectors Facebook page, was because I actually run it in a giveaway from the last show. So if you definitely want your chance to get some sweet items from Collect On Monsters, definitely go subscribe to their YouTube channel as well. So eventually I'll get that shootout and that video out. And of course, if you haven't seen our last episode of Monsters with Attitude that we did from the time of this recording last weekend, we did a retrospective on the Monsterverse. And as you can see, I have some controversial takes on it. Don't hate the Monsterverse. I'm not gonna sit here and say I hate the Monsterverse, but I do have my gripes about it. And if y'all want to hear about it, definitely go check out that video. And of course, as always, join us on Kaiju Collectors on Facebook so we can continue this discussion on Facebook, or you can even find me on Instagram on Godzilla Train 1090. Also, to follow my toy photography, and of course, y'all just want to talk, y'all can feel free to hit me up. But all right, guys, that's all I got for tonight. Have a good night, Kaiju family.